In today's video, I would like to talk about my 15 most important tips on how to stay successful and survive school. Well, there's a few tips that will be specific to nursing school, but most of them you can use in whatever major that you're going for, or your anatomy and physiology classes, or any classes at all. My number one and most important tip is to be confident. You are what you think. If you think you're the positive, you're the confident person that you are, then you will become one eventually. No stinking thinking aloud. Think about it this way. You are special because you have been chosen out of all the people in the school to be a part of something great, part of a class that is gonna get you somewhere, that's gonna get your degree. So if you think about that throughout all your semesters, starting from first, and just keep it in mind, you'll be successful. It's all about how you carry yourself. When you walk into a room, your testing site, your clinicals, even your social life, when you walk in, put a big smile on your face, stand up straight, walk up, and just let people see that you got this, you can do it. If you don't necessarily feel that way, people on the outside can't really tell. My number one advice is to not shy away from challenges. If there's an opportunity presented to you, just take it. Even if you're shaking in your pants and you're scared to death, people don't really see that. So just go for it. And even if they do see your shaking hands, just say you have low blood sugar. My number two tip is do not procrastinate. That's a real killer, a time killer. And for example, if you have an assignment due on Monday and your week ended Thursday or Friday, do it that night or the next morning. If for some reason you have underestimated the amount of work that you need to put into a specific assignment, then you will spend the whole night before it's due, and you will just set yourself up for failure. You will have no energy in class, you will not do well in clinicals, or this applies to anything that you do. The more sleep you have, 7-8 hours a night, the better you will do the next day. My third tip is to be a smart reader. Don't read every single thing in the book. In nursing school, and I'm sure in any other hard programs or schools, you are loaded up with a whole bunch of textbooks, and your professors assign many different chapters and pages for you to read in a day or so. It's just not realistic, so don't do it. Stick with the PowerPoints and the notes that you're receiving during the lectures, and find that information in the book, and try to understand the big concepts. A lot of people, they have a tendency to read every single thing in the book because they're afraid that what if on the test there's a detail-oriented question? Don't worry. If you understand concepts, then the details will follow. I promise. My fourth tip is to invest in an NCLEX type questions book, or an app, or some kind of program online. Anything that will help you try to answer those complex NCLEX type questions. They're all about critical thinking. And third semester is too late for you to get and to practice answering these kind of questions. So just get one first semester, even though you will find that it's very hard to answer those because your knowledge is very limited at this time. But it will get you on the right track as to how to approach these type of questions. That way, at the end of fourth, when you're taking your NCLEX exam, you're good to go because you had 4 semesters to practice. Okay, my next tip is to review lecture material as soon as possible. That is the same day. Even if you don't have time, you don't have to go home and just learn this all in detail and start reading your book about it. Just open it up and start reading it again. The second time you review it, it will just stick in your brain. Because if you have a gap of more than 1 or 2 or 3 days between when you review the material, you have lost more than 50% of all that material in your head. Find a a study group. I think the best number is about 2 people, 3 people max. Why I say that is because imagine if you get together for an hour and there's 4 of you. That leaves only 15 minutes for each of you to get your point across, to ask questions, to participate. But if it's only 2 of you, you have the whole time to just for yourself. And 2 brains are better than 1. So even if you think you're a loner and you want to study all by yourself, you will benefit from another student because they have the knowledge and the information that you probably don't have, and vice versa. My 7th tip is to be organized. It will save your sanity and your time. And that's all I have to say about it. 8th tip is to cut back on your work hours. I know for some people it's not possible because you have bills to pay, you're a single mom, and it's really hard. But if you can, this will help you so much. If you absolutely cannot do that, maybe you can move in with somebody like your parents, your brother, your husband's parents, or just if you're used to an extravagant lifestyle, just cut back on stuff that you purchase. Don't eat out, that kind of thing. And there's also option for financial aid and maybe even a loan. In reality, nursing school is very time consuming. So the less work you actually do, the less hours you work, the better your success will be. My next tip is to exercise. It will make you feel good. The good feeling hormones. It will increase oxygen to your brain, and it will increase your attention span in class or in clinicals. So in the long run, you're going to be successful in clinicals or study or class, pretty much anything. Number 10 is don't be lazy. This one sometimes is very hard to follow, for me especially, but if you don't give in to this laziness, you will be more successful. I promise you that. Another tip that is very important to your success is to stop stressing if you're not getting A's. Sometimes in hard programs, it's very, very hard to get A's. I know a lot of people in nursing school are type A personalities, and they are complaining if they get 98%. But let me tell you, it's not realistic. The faster that you realize that, the more peace and stress-free you will be. So just stop stressing about it. And number 12 is to create time, at least 30 minutes to an hour, to just enjoy doing something that you like. Remember that you were a human being before you started your school, so why not continue to be one? Do something that you enjoy, even if it's watching The Bachelor or something. Guilty. Number 13, I think is, for me, it's a little bit of a sensitive subject, so don't get offended, anybody, please. But it's just reality. Don't hang out with people that give off a negative vibe. It's very hard to float above all of that if you're surrounded by people that are always complaining. They're never satisfied with anything. When one of my professors gave this example, and I thought that was genius, so I'm just gonna repeat what she said. Basically, when you're in school, it's like you're swimming in this big pool and everybody's, trying to get to the top to get a gulp of air. The people that are doing well, they're on the top, they're swimming along. The people that are on the bottom and they're failing or they're just really negative, they're down there and they don't know how to get on top, so they start pulling at your legs. My advice is, even if you're trying to be nice to help them as much as you can. But if you feel like it's starting to affect your own success and your own grades, just wiggle the leg away and swim to the top. Don't let them drown you. That's very important. Number 14 is a simple one. Reward yourself. A lot of people say your real reward is when you pass the NCLEX and you get a high-paying job as a nurse somewhere. But being 2 years in school that goal is just way too far off. And I suggest that you think of goals that are, smaller. Like, for example, put a goal for yourself that you're going to stay in school and stay focused for 4 weeks. And if you're doing great, you're studying, you're doing all your, preparations, reward yourself with something that you like. Or if you pass more than 90%, give yourself a pat on the back. Number 15 is a very true and dear tip to my heart. It's do not give up. A lot of people, they feel like they are never going to achieve something, or if the road that they're taking is just taking way too long, don't give up, because your victory at the end is going to be much sweeter, because all that work will just pay off. Some people, something happens in life and they didn't pass their first or second semester and they have to repeat, or it's very depressing. It's hard to even think about it. And when you're in school, your nursing class is like your family, so it's really hard to see someone go through that. But I have to tell you, just don't give up, keep going, even if it takes you 10 years to get to your goal. It's better than you never getting to that goal, and you're going to be old and wrinkly in bed regretting that you haven't done what you really, really wanted. So just keep at it. There's a lot of people supporting you and cheering you on, and me included, so don't give up. That's all I have to say. Anyways, thank you so much for taking your time and watching this video. I hope that at least one of these tips were helpful to you and that you plan to use them in the future. Thank you so much for your support, and good luck to you in whatever it is that you're trying to achieve.